following is an exclusive original presentation of the 252 ESPN Radio Network.
The drive starts right now.
Starts right now.
Just live in the dream. Here's a guy who gets paid to talk.
Are you ready for the most electrifying man in sports and entertainment? No, he didn't.
Doing a radio show, so what? The most anticipated radio show ever.
That's right on three. 1, 2, 3.
Happy Tuesday. This is the Drive East Carolina Sports Show on your ride home. I am Mark Panicelli. Sam Ablis with me on this Tuesday.
I was gonna say you don't have the same excitement,
Enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and
My wife said, with that hat, you're wearing a hat today where you're looking like you just want to hide.
that's what I was. That's exactly what I was gonna say. You
please.
look like you're
I don't
just
know.
depressed and.
It's a terrible day.
Do you want to? I can get you a paper bag we can put over your head. You can be like the sad fan.
Yeah. And nothing is actually dumber than someone who is acting like that when their team is in this close. I mean, in the Eastern Conference Final. So, especially when I have ranted all year about, we're playing with the house money, these Celtics. We're not going to win the championship this year anyway. But I was telling you, when you get there as a fan, you can't help but get wrapped up in it and start to think crazy thoughts. We could win it now. LeBron James had another 40-point performance last night.
His sixth of this playoff run.
Yes.
6 40-point games for LeBron. Are you even
Stirring memories of Allen Iverson.
right? Yeah. Does it even phase you though? Like, okay, Steph Curry the other night, Sunday night, had that big 40-point performance, or Monday night, excuse me. Went nuts. Huge game for Steph Curry. And as he's filling it up, is really just one good half of basketball that Steph Curry had.
Yeah.
But as all that's going on, I'm legitimately like, wow, this is really impressive. When LeBron James has 40 points nights, it's not even impressive, right? Like, it's just like, oh, look, LeBron had 40. Duh. Like, ho-hum. It's amazing to me that he is so good that he even makes a terrific performance kind of boring.
Are you saying because it's expected?
I'm so accustomed to seeing it constantly.
Right.
And it just he does it with such ease. It's one of the things I've always joked about with my dad, and the reason I'm an NC State fan is because of my dad. He raised me to be an NC State fan, and obviously with that comes the frustrations of the basketball team, right? And the frustrations of, whatever. You understand what it's like being an NC State fan. One of the things my dad always...
You don't understand.
Right. One of the things my dad always joked about and we'd always laugh about is when we would watch Carolina play or when we would watch Duke play or we watch Kansas play,
Right.
It was always, wow, look how easy they make it look. When you take these good programs, these well-coached programs, look how easy they make it look. It doesn't take away from how good they are. It's just they seem to do it effortlessly. And when you look at NC State, it's quite the opposite. And so to me, when I see other players in the league have explosions similar to what LeBron has been doing, it's so much more impressive because I guess it seems like they have to work harder for it. But when LeBron does it, man, it's like he just walks out there and decides, okay, I'm just going to go for 40 tonight, and he makes it happen effortlessly.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. And it's why he makes this look easy, and it's why we think to ourselves, how can he how can he, we're so hard on him for not winning these championships. And it's because he's so good, and because despite how great the Celtics have looked, he's now overcome that, and just as you were talking about, just sort of does what he does, and all of a sudden we're right back to a best-of-3 series. When he does 20-point performances, he needs to do more. When he doesn't win championships, and especially against a team that is so stacked against him. And the one thing that I'll say, I will concede this. Michael Jordan played against really good teams. I've said this before that, I think there's statistical references to how many 50-point teams he's beaten. A significantly more amount of 50-win teams over the course of his playoff history than LeBron James-led teams have. But at the same time, despite the fact that Jordan faced a talented Laker team that included Magic, getting through the Eastern Conference and those teams, but look at the finals, those Phoenix Suns teams, really talented Utah Jazz team. No team in the history of all of college basketball, NBA basketball, no team in the history of NBA basketball has ever been assembled the way the Golden State Warriors are assembled. They are assembled. I know you guys hate this, and I'm wearing the Captain America shirt in here. They are literally assembled like the Avengers facing Thanos, because the only way you're going to beat a LeBron James, a Thanos, is to assemble the greatest players in the NBA. Now, mind you, yes, we can argue that, Russell Westbrook and this guy and that guy, but there's no team constructed the way the Warriors are constructed, because you go even further than just the big four, the Draymond Green and the Klay Thompson, the Curry, the Kevin Durant. Andre Iguodala was the featured guy in Philadelphia before the process began. He's a great two-way player. I would argue that in like 16 other places, Andre Iguodala is the star of that team. That's how good they are.
Right. And
nobody's built like the Golden State Warriors. And going back to the LeBron James thing is, we're holding him to he can't win championships, but who's ever had to, Michael Jordan, whoever. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe those Celtics teams of the 50s or 60s, but I don't know enough about basketball to even use that as a reference. I just don't think at any time in history has any great player had to face a team constructed like the Golden State Warriors are. So
you're already abandoning all hope. Like, I mean, dude, it's a tied series. You're going back home. And if you want to talk, like, what's so crazy and why I'm still not abandoning this Boston Celtics team is because, man, have there ever...
You won't even talk. I've already gone to Warriors, Cavs, NBA Finals.
Exactly. And then I don't think we need to do that because, I mean, you're right in everything you're saying. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Golden State Warriors are the best team in basketball history. I don't think there's any denying that, top to bottom.
From a roster standpoint.
Right. I mean, you're talking about a team that had a 2-time MVP and then went and added arguably the greatest basketball player
another
under
MVP.
The sun. Right.
Yes, it's
and then,
insane.
Iguodala. Sean Livingston is a guy who was expected to be like a number 1 overall pick in the NBA until he had that gruesome knee injury. Like, they are just perfectly constructed, and they play well together, all that, blah, blah, blah. We know.
Yes.
The Warriors are great. We don't need to explain that to anybody.
Can be featured players elsewhere.
Right, but man, this series is still 2-2. It's tied, and when you look at this,
whoa. What did I say yesterday? The winner of the game last night is going to win the series.
That doesn't make sense when you look at these two teams and how they play. I cannot ever think of a team or two teams who are such night and day differences when it comes to being on their home court and being on the road. Boston at home, unstoppable, man. Unstoppable. They still have not lost a home game in these playoffs. Yeah. That still has not happened. And Cleveland is the same way. When they go on the road, they are dog bleed.
That may end on Wednesday, though.
But why? Like, you don't want to say that just yet, man. There's still a chance.
I don't want to say that, but the truth is, did you see last night? Did you see?
I did.
Because what I saw
I saw exactly what we've been seeing every single step of the way in the playoffs at this point. It's like, well, Boston's really, really bad on the road, and Cleveland's really, really good at home. And the same can be said when you flip the script and you have Boston at home and Cleveland on the road. And so I'm telling you, man, what is your tune going to be when we're sitting in here on Thursday and your Celtics all of a sudden have a 3-2 lead? And then you go back to Cleveland and say you drop that one, but you have the Game 7 at home.
Yeah, again, I don't feel great about it. I don't want to face a Game 7. I think LeBron James, if anybody's going to end this undefeated run, if anybody's equipped to stop the undefeated home record, it's Cleveland. I think last night what I saw was there was plenty of opportunity for Boston to win that game. I know that sounds crazy because they lost by it was a 9-point game at the end of it. They played so awful at the beginning. They did exactly what they did in Game 3 and dug themselves a huge hole that they could never get out of. But they actually played much better. They outscored the Cavaliers in the second and third quarter, but could just never get over the hump. And I was telling you, 15 dunks or layups missed. They're inexperienced.
Don't abandon the ship, man. The captain has to go down with the ship, man. The captain has to go down with the ship. You are. In Eastern North Carolina, when it comes to driving the Boston Celtics ship, you are the captain.
I'm the guy who's, listen, I feel just defeated. You know how it is. And that's what's great about the 7-game series in any sport is the roller coaster of emotion. 2 days ago, I was dancing around here. I mean, like tap dancing, singing show tunes like that. Unbearable. Not that I was really doing that, but that's
you were. Yeah, no, you definitely were.
Enjoy. And now, I'm in here just let's talk some NFL free agency and who's not signed yet. Let's talk about Bautista getting released by the Braves. What can we go talk anything but basketball? Now
Jose Bautista proves the point that when you are signed to a team, you need to bring more than just your name. You need to actually bring some talent. Jose Bautista had a horrible month.
He did have a bad month, but I mean, it's 1 month. I'm glad how we diverted away from the basketball. You see how we could do that?
They are tied 2-all. 2-all, man.
2-all.
Don't fall. Look, you more than anybody, okay? You more than anybody constantly like to preach the let's not overreact, okay? Let's not take the 1 game sample size here.
Right.
Let's not take last night's performance and come in here and do the massive overreaction. That's what I do. I'm the one who comes in here and brings a broom into the studio.
Yes.
You are always the voice of reason in this, and I understand that it is your team, and I understand that there's a certain level of heartbreak when you're looking down the barrel of the gun and the bullet sitting in the chamber of LeBron James. That is not a good feeling.
It's not a good feeling.
But it's going to be okay, man. You're going back home. You still love this team.
Oh, I do.
You still want to trade Kyrie Irving away this offseason.
I do not.
It's going to be all right.
I absolutely
You guys are going to bounce back. You're going to be up 3-2 after tomorrow night. And then we'll reset. You'll be back in here happy again.
Listen, tomorrow, Sam and I are going to be giving away a huge prize package to someone from Washington, D.C. When you tune in tomorrow at this time, you may be actually listening to this same exact segment that you're listening to right now because it'll be a best of. I don't really know what they play, so I'm not in charge of that. Some other person way down the chain is in charge of whoever determines that. So what I do know is that tomorrow we'll be in Washington, D.C. We have this whole day of things to do. We're going to watch a game, I think, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's actually kind of exciting. You got Harper and blah, 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 blah. Skip to the end. Sam is going to have to be in a car with me during the Celtics game we drive from Washington, D.C. back home here to Eastern North Carolina. So, are you looking forward to that?
No, not at all.
Are you scared for your life? Because I am driving.
Right. I'm just, that's the scary part to me, man, because I have obviously always known about your Boston Celtic fandom, but you really get to see how much that fandom affects someone's life when it comes to playoff runs and it comes to real meaningful sports. You've seen it with me. You've seen me as an NC State fan when NC State's not doing well, and you've seen the opposite side of it. And the fandom comes out when the stakes get high. And the way you're feeling today, the way you're behaving today, the way that your world has crumbled down, certainly has me very nervous for our relationship in this car ride tomorrow and my own personal safety on the drive home tomorrow night.
I was crushed last night. Yeah. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to try to get Jordan Honeycutt on the show today. We originally were going to get Kyle Gaskins on, but they got some crazy weather going on. The American Athletic Conference Championship games were played earlier today, so we're going to have Kyle on later in the week, which is good. We'll have Michael Norwood on later in the week. I mentioned we're going to be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow, Nationals Park. Looking forward to that. And yes, at some point while we're there, meeting the Dave Jagler, Charlie Slows, the play-by-play crew for the Nationals, we're also going to talk with Mike Rizzo. And they say they're going to let us talk to some players. So, and maybe
hopefully we're going to get a player to draw the name for our contest.
It's not going to be Bryce Harper. I'm pretty sure they're not going to give us Bryce Harper.
I'm going to try to make it be Bryce Harper.
I'm hopeful that they'll be like, oh, you're Mark Vanichelli. We've heard of you, and you're the guy who has this man crush on Bryce Harper. And
I'm really thinking what we're going to have to end up doing is finding a way to steal like a lock of Bryce Harper's hair. And I think it would be a really good addition to the wall here that we have in the studio.
We should... I hope he's there, and then that could be our question. Like everybody would be like, oh, what do you think of a contract renewal this year? Have you given it any thought yet? And then we could be like, could we have a lock of your hair for our studio? We got a Scooby-Doo, Britney Spears, and nothing would really bring in the feng shui any more than just a lock of Bryce Harper's hair.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise you, and this is kind of off topic. But
we just, by the way, emailed from Major League Baseball. Our credentials have been revoked for tomorrow's game. They're listening.
If we had a lock of Bryce Harper's hair, I don't know the science behind this, but does hair not decay? Would it not just stay here forever? Because my parents are in the middle of moving houses.
Yeah.
And so doing the whole going back.
We'd have to put it in plastic, I think.
Something like that. My mom still has a curl from my very first haircut I got as a baby.
There you go.
And you touch it and it's like it just got cut off of my head now. And I'm like, that was
weird, right?
20 some odd years ago. How is the hair still around?
It's like corpses that have rotted still have the hair.
So I think that'd be a good investment if we could get some of Bryce's hair.
It's actually why people believed in vampires, because they would see the corpses and fingernails and hair still grows after you die.
Wow.
Which is creepy, right?
Wow. Yeah.
If I'm wrong, somebody email
What is the guy's name from Silence of the Lambs? The bad guy.
Hannibal?
The guy who, no. The other one. Buffalo Bill? Isn't he the one who cuts off the skin and wears it?
Maybe.
I think that's his name. I think it's Buffalo Bill. I feel like we've got some Buffalo Bill stuff going on. Yeah.
We can look at, because it's been forever. And I would hate to even think.
Yeah. It's Buffalo Bill.
Okay. It sounded right. But it also seems like that's a football team, right?
Yeah. It's weird. Weird. And I think
a football team
famous
that
outlaw
Jalen Ramsey is just all over.
It rubs the lotion on the skin or else it gets the hose again.
Well, we got a great show ahead.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Bryce Harper's hair.
Put the lotion in the basket.
It's our safe word.
Those are great movies.
Those are creepy movies.
Red Dragon's on Netflix right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
That usually means all of the other ones are somewhere.
They're not on Netflix.
Oh, you looked for them?
Yeah.
Okay. Usually when they've got one, they've got all of them. So we need to take a break. Great start to the show. I don't know how we can top this. Jordan Honeycutt will join us later. Magical Bacon in the house. Should be a lot of fun. Don't you go anywhere on this Tuesday, or else we'll come find you.